Hello everyone, hello. I still don't have a pop filter and I'm very close to the microphone, and today I'm bringing you something that I've been looking forward to for many years. This is, if you're not familiar with this menu, this is Severance, the Blade of Darkness, or as it's known now, now it's simply the Blade of Darkness. It is available. It will be available on Steam on the 7th of October. It has a demo out. There is a demo on Steam for a game released before, I'd wager, 40% of you were born. Is this not amazing? Well, it is. You may have previously heard me say that Severance, the Blade of Darkness, is the Dark Souls game that was actually good. Since then, I have played a functional Dark Souls game on PC, Dark Souls 3, where they actually have mouse controls. I know, it's amazing. In the year, when it came out, 2017, they realized games can be played with a mouse. Games where, aim things can be played with a mouse. Amazing technological progress. So this is the demo. I think it has only the first level for each of these characters. If you don't remember them, well, there's this guy who is the barbarian. He is a cool dude who weighs more than me, but he's also about half as tall extra as me and a lot younger and has hair. I don't think we'll be playing as him. He does not resemble me. This guy, on the other hand, is a bit bolder and sort of resembles me in some ways. And he's older too, so Then we have this guy, who is the dwarf, named Nalgfar. He's got fewer attacks, mostly axe-based. And then there's Zoe. Now, I have the impression that when this game was made 20 years ago, they didn't really, have time. Well, actually, I know they didn't have time. There's a lot of stuff that isn't in the game, like a story, because they couldn't finish it in time. So that's why some of the characters don't have as many attacks, special moves, as the first two, like Zoe and the dwarf, Nalfgar, whatever his name was. But that doesn't actually change in this version, guys. If you don't know, the game is in a remastered, slightly tweaked version. It's remade in a way that, it's remade by something called Sneg and Fire Falcon and whatever this other thing is, General Arcade. It's being remastered somewhat. It's polished up a bit. The intro had some sharpening put to it, so it looks a bit snazzier on high-resolution screens. And the graphics look kind of the same. But the game runs now, it used to run fine on older systems as well with no issues. I mean, it was on GOG up until 2015 or something. So a remaster, they really haven't remastered a lot, I would say. But it's here now, and it no longer offers you the ability to choose between OpenGL, Direct 3D, and actually it was DirectX 7 or 6 or something, and 3D effects. Now everything is running on something cobbled together in Python, which, if you know programming, you know that Python, not a lot of games, a lot of 3D games made in Python, and there's a good reason for that. Python is hella slow. But this game came out 20 years ago. You could basically run it on a watch, so it doesn't matter if Python is slow. The game just doesn't really... look at that reflection. Look, actually, that's actually a nice reflection. It's It's a game made 20 years ago that has better reflections than most of what Square Enix puts out, because they're using an engine that doesn't have support for reflections. That's probably done with, just copying the geometry, flipping it, and putting a wobble thing over it. So let's start with the Barbarian. We'll not do the tutorial because the tutorial, although it is quite informative, is not really all that interesting. So if you haven't ever played a game, then it's about a blade of darkness. And actually, no, you go after the blade of light, the sword of Ayana. The blade of darkness is, to be honest, I kind of forgot. So there's a god that is trying to invade reality and be born into this. It's sort of like the story of Arx Fatalis, in a way. Only your more chop-heady approach is preferable to, talking to others. The water does look nice. Controls do take some time to get used to again. There is no strafing directly, you just move either with the keyboard or with the mouse. I think you could probably technically play it solely with the keyboard. No, actually no, because you do have to aim with the bow. You can also go first person. Can you do that in Dark Souls without mods? Oh look, there's a stamina bar. They must have surely copied Dark Souls, because Dark Souls invented this genre according to the goddamn absolute garbage sites. They call themselves gaming sites, formers of opinions. And I'm a bit upset again at various gaming sites, because here's the thing. If you're watching this, look up Slaps and Beans 2 on Kickstarter. It's the sequel to Slaps and Beans, a game I made a video about a couple of years ago when it was in early access. My video isn't really up to date about that game because they improved a lot of things and added superb music. Now they're making a sequel. It's on Kickstarter. I funded it. I pledged to it, I mean. And I was hoping it would get media coverage. I even contacted some people at PC Gamer, and they didn't write anything about it. Instead, they opted to make an article about how Diablo 2 sucks and Diablo 3 is so much better, you guys. Because Diablo 2 is old, and some people are just, let's just have some fun bashing some heads. Now, as a remaster, I would say it's mostly fine. Well, they could have improved the graphics a bit, or build in some options, because you don't really have any options at all. You do have the field of view, which is nice, but apart from that, you don't really have much. Actually, how far does this go? That's is that the first person field of view or just general field of view? Okay, let's go 170. How does this look at once? Oh dear God. I do not remember this being in the original game. Oh, this is the creepiest way possible to play this game. I have no depth perception now. I don't know how close that swing is. Yeah, just connected. I can't even see if I'm hitting him. Okay, I'm gonna switch back before I die. But there are no options visually, I mean, apart from the FOV and the contrast and gamma, which is a shame, because you could mod the original Blade of Darkness, the Steam version, with the reshades, and you could make it look absolutely bonkers amazing until you accidentally made the model characters' textures show up on every surface, and then you sort of got lost. But you got used to that. Okay, let's get back to it. I should probably go third person back. Oh, I'm stuck in a corner, so that's a bad idea. Oh no, he blocked me. See, this is my dodge roll. You see, this is how I dodge. I don't spin around like an idiot on the ground and roll away 70 meters out of harm's way like it's some kind of easy mode. And enemies don't really have, instant hit, absolutely telekinetically, telepathically directed attacks. Also, I can do this. Hey, mister. I was gonna say, can I give you a hand? But I don't think I cut off his head, though. Yeah. Let's try this joke again with a different body part on a different enemy. One thing I kind of wish they would have improved is, well, frankly, the mouse controls. You see, this game was made in an era where 3D, I mean accurate 3D, and this style of game with this kind of movement was so it was relatively new. Yes, we've had Tomb Raider for a couple of years now, and its clunkiness and other 3D games. Haha, get ahead, if you will. Should have made a tiny pun. But what I mean to say is that there is a certain snappiness to the controls, and I don't mean that they're very responsive. They are responsive, but they tend to snap onto certain angles, and I honestly, I'm not certain that I remember the original being in the same fashion, having controls that behaved in the same way. You notice it mostly when it comes to aiming with the bow, where it will just snap to different quadrants of the screen, I would say. I'm not sure if maybe that's an issue with having a 1000 hertz polling mouse, because such mice do tend to cause problems for older games. One good example is No One Lives Forever 2. If you have a 1000 megahertz mouse, it is unplayable. You cannot aim, like, at all. This one is still playable, though, even with the issues with the aiming. You don't have super fine aiming. Now, this game does suffer from, well, apart from having better jumping mechanics than Dark Souls, it does suffer from the late, well, being a 3D game, it is evocative of Tomb Raider. It has to be. A 3D action adventure game is always evocative of Tomb Raider, of its obsession with jumps and puzzles. I chopped your feet off. Actually, I'm gonna dodge. Actually, I'm gonna press F1 and look up my attack. So, abilities. At level 2 I can rage. Okay, so here's the thing. The knight gets his dodge attacks at level 2. The barbarian gets rage at level 2. So I'm gonna have to level up a bit, and then I'll be able to do these. Also, we have weapon specific attacks. Him and the barbarian have the most. The others have very few of them. In terms of being an RPG, it is honestly quite limited. If you look at these, it's more of an action adventure game with in the vein of Crusaders of Might and Magic. Man, I'm mentioning Crusaders of Might and Magic. It's probably a wrong comparison, because that's even a more obscure game. Gauntlet, I would say. Think of it as Gauntlet in 3D, but with really good combat. Combat that, features things like weapon collisions. I mean that your weapon, see, it does this. But here's the thing. Not only your weapon does this, their weapons do that as well. And I don't mean that their weapons do that when I am using them. I mean, their weapons do that in their own hands, which is uncommon in games today. I mean, take Dark Souls, for example, even the third one, which is the most playable one. Enemies will hit you through walls this thick because their weapons just clip through them, because, that's fair and balanced. And look, see, there is a shadow there. It's foreshadowing something, and man, I wish I had a strafe button. I'm just gonna sneak. Sneaking, by the way, there's no sneak skill. You just walk up slowly behind them with, and he heard me, and I pressed tab by mistake. Tab is how you lock onto them, which is the only way you can actually manually strafe. Oh, did you just try and hit me? Man. Yeah, I'm not playing this, tactically. It's been 20 years since I've, well, not exactly 20. I did play it a bunch when I did the video like 5 or 6 years ago. But it's been a while since I've really properly played it. Let's munch on some crust and go kill more gobbers. Now, one thing you're probably gonna notice that's really fun in this game, I mean, apart from having shadows that are actually dictated by the direction of the light, is that if you press escape, you'll notice that there's this option. Well, it's not in the demo version, but see, there's that save option. Now, when you use that save option, your progress up until this point is saved. And then when you leave the game or when you die and load that save game, every enemy that you killed is still dead. And you're just left at the exact place where you were when you saved. So it's almost like the game has respect a bit for your time, which I know it's an absolute mad idea. A game that respects your time. What is this, communist China? Come on. Bang, bang. No. Bang, bang. I see. Bang, bang, bang. No. Getting the attacks right does take some time. You have to get used to the actual flow of the game. So attack right, attack right. I really don't have that much stamina, do I? There it is. Oh, I cancelled out of it. The game does have really like cancelling out of attacks as a thing. Today this would be like invincibility frames or something. It's a tactic that you have to learn, but here it was just, part of the jankiness of it being like a really old game. The implementation of melee combat, although it is very fun and really engaging, I would say would have benefited from some better linking of animations, as I think the best implementation of melee combat we've had in a game in this era, and possibly ever in most cases, would be the Jedi Knight series, or namely Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Outcast. Here I just jumped by pressing a single button on my mouse. I didn't have to press down on the stick I was using to run. It made the jumping easier. Keep in mind that even when it was released, I still considered the jumping in this game to be absolutely harrowing compared to anything else it had to offer as a challenge. But still, it somehow is better suited to jumping mechanics than modern games made in modern times. Oh, there it is. Oh, you interrupted my attack. How unfair of you. Actually, it's not unfair because, come on, aim at him. Because I can do the exact same thing. I can interrupt their attacks as well. And I can cut off their heads, and then I can pick up their heads as well and run around with them. And throw it at them. It's a head bonanza, if you will. I can even smack people over the head with somebody else's head. Ooh, crust. Let's eat that. And there appears to be a potion up there, so let's go forward and grab us a potion. So we'll have it for later. Yeah. No, he just ate it. I think only the full health potions can be stored for later. He just gobbles up the other ones. Because he's a barbarian, he does not care. Let's jump up here. Jump up. Come on. You'll notice that it has the kind of same slow, awkward animation that Dark Souls 1 did. Because the animation is locked at 30 frames a second. Again, this was made in very different times, but it does share some features with games that came out a decade later. Possibly more. A Chaos Sword, not in reach. Yes, it is. It is in reach now. You can also block with the sword, by the way. You'd call it a parry nowadays, I guess. Mag, then we just call it cool. Let's actually block this guy's attacks and I'll show you how cool it can be. Oh, that was a special attack. That was even more special attack. Come on, get closer. Okay, I blocked a bit too late. Haha! Take that. Oh. Come on. There's a bit of a delay in blocking. I'm using the keyboard instead of the mouse. Come on. By reflex, I keep pressing space to dodge, but I forget it's on the right click. Which is actually an okay place to put it because you're going to be... Oh, I discovered a high. Well, I killed him anyway. See, my sword... And there's a neighbor hammering right now. My sword, like in the reverse... Well, actually, in the finishing arc of me missing him, sliced his leg off. See, my weapon, the edge of my weapon, is where the damage occurs. It's not that the animation itself causes damage on the whole surface of the enemy. It's centralized, it's pinpointed, it's, you know... How should I put this? They cared enough to do that. This guy's gonna get clobbered because he's got no shield. Yeah. Oh, he clobbered me once. Well, I got his skull, but I'm gonna take his head instead. Should probably actually went up there. I'd like to thank my neighbor for hammering while I'm doing this video. Hopefully it's not overly audible on this video. There are secrets in this game, quite a few. For example, the secret of chucking this head over the wall, which I do not yet understand fully. One day, maybe I will. Like the Avatar said when he wanted to learn the ways of magic from that guy and Pagan, and never did because he basically screwed over his entire world. Yeah, this guy's gonna be easy. He just got 15 HP, so 2 slices. But that orc on the other hand, woof. I'm gonna try and get ahead of the situation by, should not have done that actually, by grabbing this guy's head and doing this, and now running away because I don't have my weapon equipped. Take out my weapon. Orcs are particularly nasty creatures. They are quite strong, and this guy actually has superb chance. Like, look at how fast he's attacking compared to the other guys. And I don't have like any health potions, anything. This is where I will die. And since I can't save, I'm gonna have to restart the entire level. Because again, this is the demo version. The demo has no save feature. If this was Dark Souls, that would just be the game. Not being able to save or do anything. That would just be the entire game. And now my cat is trying to claw at me. Hopefully I could... No, I thought I could hide behind the crates and save myself the embarrassment of dying, but no. I embarrassed myself and died. So instead of restarting the whole thing, and my cat seems to have run away, I'm gonna go back and try again, this time with the Amazon, because, well, the night level is, I think, kind of boring. I also probably played it the most. But she starts in the most Lara Croftian. Hello, kitten. The kitten wants to play. Actually, I think the kitten wants to go outside. And is really, really ticked off that she's not going outside. And kitten, the kitten is now on the keyboard. The kitten is pressing place. The kitten is now looking at the mouse. Kitten, please, 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 please. Stay still. Get your tail out of the... So this show has been a train wreck up until now, and leave the toothpick. Leave the toothpick. Don't. She dropped it. And she's probably gonna jump down and try to eat the HDMI cable again. So if this show never gets aired now, you know why. So Zoe has, look, like a lot, basically no abilities, but just these. That's super sad. Also, keep in mind that the main weapon in this game, the Sword of Ayana, the most badass weapon, is a sword, meaning that she will not be able to it's not really suited for her or for the dwarf. Those are mainly weapons for the barbarian and the knight. Okay, so let's go fight some gobbers again. I pressed caps instead of down slash. I wanted to press tab to lock on. See, if the game had proper strafing, you wouldn't need to lock on like some kind of console peasant. You just have the ability to move freely, which, yeah, I think people with hammers wouldn't need the ability to move freely. I mean, they have hammers, and I'm babbling right now because there's the neighbor upstairs. Oh, actually, that guy would have just died on his own because he stepped into a trap. See, traps in this game, they kill everybody. Doesn't matter if it's you, if it's the enemy. Their own attacks will kill them. If you get two enemies next to each other, they will kill each other. Because, there's such a thing as physics and not enough room to, swing a weapon wildly without murdering your friend. Did I mention this game has multiplayer? Well, the full version will have multiplayer. You probably won't be able to play with your cat unless you train your cat to use a mouse and keyboard. Actually, I think it may also work with a gamepad. Though it probably won't be as nice. Hello, mister. See, that's what happens when you have low stamina. Oh, she's the only one that can, do this because she's really small. Well, the dwarf is also small, but she's more agile than the others. So this is where Dark Souls came from, people. Though dodging doesn't actually use that much, actually no stamina. So you can probably do it indefinitely, though just remember, they can still kill you when you do that. You actually have to move away. I don't believe there are invincibility frames in the game. They'll still quonk you on the head and murderize you. And I just died. Yeah, that happens. Well, this has been the reminder that Blade of Darkness is being released on the 7th of October. You should go play it. It's a wonderful game. It'll give you a new perspective on history and probably make people, not call this genre Souls-like, but, Severance-like. Actually, this caps actor, so let's try again. Severance-like. Because that's what it is. So, take care, people. I'll be back with more demos of things that showed up on Steam for this Steam Fest, which I hope you've tried as well because it is superb. Bye-bye.